Hey everyone, I'm Luke with Mediocrity Gaming. In this Conan Exiles beginner guide, I'll take you from your very first steps in the desert all the way to building your first real base. Not just a starter hut, but a solid outpost, big enough for your early crafting needs, easy to build almost anywhere, and useful enough to keep even after you've moved on. After spawning into the Exile lands, your first journey, which you'll see in the top right corner, called Survivor, begins. It'll guide you through some early survival basics, but we'll go a bit deeper to make sure you're set up for what's ahead. To get started, simply start moving around, but you'll want to follow the road ahead. Don't forget to grab this glowing green stone. So you won't be fighting or crafting just yet, but while you're moving around, start harvesting from bushes for plant fiber. You'll want a lot of it. Follow the road ahead where you saw the plume of smoke. This step is really just about approaching the wreckage, nothing complicated. At the wreck, open the chest and grab the roasted haunch. On the right side of the wreck, there is another water skin that you can grab and drink to complete the eat and drink objective of the journey. And if you want, you can simply discard that water skin once you're done with it. Also, eating the meat is optional, but it's smart to top off your hunger here. To complete the next objective, you'll need to fully harvest 3 bushes. Grab as much plant fiber as you can. Also, start grabbing stones you see laying around the wreck. Even though it only asks for 1 piece of coarse clothing, craft a full set if you have enough fiber, which you should. It gives a small armor boost and it helps with temperature. Every level gives you attribute points. Open your menu and spend it wherever makes sense. Strength and vitality are great early choices if you plan on using swords, hammers, or spears. Agility is great for daggers and bows. Now keep heading north along the road. You'll start to see branches spawning on the side of the road. Go ahead and grab them. Just grab as many as you can as you're walking. Eventually you'll come across a large bat demon. It's going to scream, you've startled it, it's going to fly off, you won't be able to fight it, but walk up to the body that it was chewing on and that's it for that step. Oh, and grab the journal if you want to hear that little story, it's kind of cool. And this is where it's going to have you gather 5 stones and 5 branches, which luckily you've gathered way more than that on your way here, because you're going to need quite a few more for the next couple of steps. Open your inventory, craft the pick. You're going to need that to harvest stones in the next step. Now equip your pick, find a stone, and whack away. In this next step, you're going to need to go to your Knowledge tab and unlock a weapon type, whether it's Warrior, Bruiser, or Skirmisher, things like that. Warriors, your one-handed weapons, Bruisers, your two-handed weapons. I personally do Bruiser because I like my two-handed spears. Those things are fun. It all depends on what build you're going for. Once you've chosen a weapon, open your inventory and craft the stone weapon of your choice. At this point, just keep heading down the road in the same direction you've been going. You're going to trigger the next objective, which is craft a bedroll. And this is when I typically craft the bedroll because I just want to make sure it's done and out of the way so I don't forget to do it. And welcome to Noob River. That's what this area is with all the green and the trees. It's not, it gets a lot greener, trust me. This is where you get into your first fight. And these guys are typically the ones you fight first. They're pretty squishy, 3 shots, boom, they're down. Why is it called Noob River? Well, this is where everybody who's starting off decides to put their first base. It's actually the safest place to put it. It's the easiest place, and so many resources that you're going to need in the beginning. What we're going to do is I'm going to put a base right there on that point, and it's going to be a build that I like to use that doesn't just start me off in the game. It actually turns into an outpost that I use throughout my journey in the Exiled lands. But before we can start building, we need to set down a bedroll. That way we have a spawn point, and it triggers the next objective of slay an enemy, which we only have 1 in the area, so we're going to kill this shaleback real quick. All right, with that done, that's going to trigger the next objective, which is craft wraps. You're going to then need to use the wraps. They're pretty self-explanatory, so I don't really need to get too in-depth with that. All right, now it's going to want you to harvest meat. So the first thing you're going to do, craft a cleaver, use the cleaver, get the meat. Now it wants you to refill your water skin, which is pretty easy. Once you're in the water, hit the hotbar number that your water skin is under, and boom, you're refilled. Next, unlock Primitive Cook Knowledge, which is in the Knowledge tab under Survival. Now all you have to do is craft a campfire and then place it. Next, it's going to have you cook the raw meat that you collected from the shaleback. All you got to do is throw the meat in the campfire and some wood or branches. I chose wood. Hit that little start button and wait. Once it's done cooking, grab it, take a bite, and that's the end of your Survivor journey. Oh, and don't forget to open your journey's menu and claim the reward for Survivor Journey. And with that journey completed, you've got your tools, you got some gear, and hopefully a good pile of resources. So now it's time to build a base that's more than just a box. We're talking crafting space, storage, and something that still is useful long after you've moved on. And this right here is my go-to starter base. It's simple, strong, easy to build just about anywhere. It's got enough space for all your starter crafting stations, and it works as a long-term outpost. And honestly, I think it looks pretty cool. And this is the enclosed version if you are worried about security or privacy. Now let me show you how to build it. It's beginner friendly, uses basic materials, and scales no matter where you decide to settle. And this is where I start. Just a basic foundation layout. Nothing's built yet, no plan locked in. It's just the shape I like to begin with before I decide where everything's actually going. And next I like to get the walls, windows, and doors up. And sometimes there's this thing called Funcom magic, where things don't want to work quite right. So all you gotta do is log out, log back in, and boom, they should work. And with the final touches done on the interior, let's go ahead and start focusing on the exterior, more specifically the area that I like to call the outdoor crafting area. I start by extending the square foundations out by 2 and then filling in the gaps with the wedge foundations. And I'll just add the final touches right there. And there you have it, my day 1 starter base that I like to use. It gives you enough space for all your crafting stations, and it even gives you room to expand. So let's go ahead and take a look around and I'll show you how I set it up. Just before you enter on the right, you have the cooking fire. Starting from the left, the alchemist table, tanner's table, torturer's table straight ahead, the saddler's bench, artisan tables right next to that, and the armorsmith's bench on the right. As we head upstairs, you're going to see it's not very exciting. We have a few storage containers, we have a bed, and that's pretty much it. Next, we're going to head downstairs, out the door to the outdoor crafting area with the carpenter's bench to the left, and to the right we have the tannery, the firebowl cauldron, the forge, and the blacksmith's bench. So there it is, folks, my version of a day 1 starter base. It's simple, efficient, and ready for whatever the Exile Lands has to throw at you. But don't be afraid to experiment, make it your own, adapt it to your playstyle, or just use this as a solid jumping off point. And if you found this guide helpful, give it a like, drop your ideas in the comments, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. I am Luke with Mediocrity Gaming, reminding you that good enough is still good. Catch you in the next guide.